Good evening out there, twitch.tv fans of Hearthstone and fans of the content creators of Hearthstone. Welcome back to United Hearthstone League. We are in the inaugural match of week 5 of season 2. My name is Cinder, and I'm joined by the first time on the analyst desk with me. It's Animor from Team Swaggo. Hey, Animor, what's up, man?
Oh man, I'm doing fantastic on this. It's the eve of the nerfs, isn't it?
It is. This is the last night prior to the end of the meta as we know it now.
Oh man, how can you not feel good on a night like this?
Tomorrow is going to be a beautiful, beautiful day, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tonight, folks, we are going to be bringing you on this eve of nerfs a match between a couple of podcasters. From 1600 Dust, we have Chris Plummer, and from Into the Wild, it's Nate Wolf. And as I understand it, Animor, they have decided on a bit of a deck building challenge, haven't they? Tell us about this.
Yeah, so for some awesome reason, they've decided to impose rules upon themselves. Both players will be bringing the same 3 classes. They're all bringing Priest, Shaman, and Warrior. And they've also kind of decided to play only odd decks. Ooh, I like this. We're going to probably be seeing a lot of hero powers.
Lots of Bakus.
Yeah. I don't know if they decided to put Baku in each deck.
Well,
But
I would hope so. If you're gonna,
I would hope so.
Every deck's gonna be odd. Let's use Baku, right?
You might as well, right? I don't know. Maybe they like the additional challenge. But the final rule is that they're going to be putting in as many legendaries as they possibly can. I believe they fit 16 or 17 legendaries into all 3 of their decks.
Yep, that is what I was told. One of them has 17 and one of them has 16 legendaries across all 3 decks. That is kind of insane. But this all kind of goes together with the UHL format, and these content creators have done a great job of making this both competitive and creative. But this is a creative format, Animor. Can you tell the audience exactly how the lineup selection works?
Yeah, so this is best of 5 standard conquest, but it's a little different in the fact that there's actually no ban. Each player only brings 3 classes, 3 decks each week to this best of 5. And on top of that, every 3 weeks, they're reset. They can only bring the 9 classes, and after their first week, they can bring the 6 remaining classes. They can't bring the 3 that they brought the first week, and then the third week, they only have those 3 classes left, so they're stuck with those. On the 4th week, it resets, so we're on the 5th week now. They have 6 classes to choose from, and that's that shaman, that priest, and that warrior.
So this is, they're in their 2nd week, so next week they're going to be reduced down to their remaining 3 classes for that rotation. But for tonight, it's going to be a mirror match, but how similar are these decks exactly? Are we going to have a diverse battle, or is this going to be somewhat of a mirror?
This looks like a diverse battle, just looking at these deck lists. I'm seeing, on one side, I'm seeing a very weird, odd, legendary control style, and on the other side, just going ham with the aggression.
Well, I am super into this this creative deck building challenge stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and ask you, Animor, to get the players started while we talk about this a little bit. I want to look at these deck lists and look at the player histories for a hot second. Both of these players have had a bit of a checkered record so far in United Hearthstone League. Chris C. Plummer has only won a single match, and that was last week against Versika from the Hero Power podcast. And Nate Wolf is actually doing fairly well. He's 2-2 in matches, but has won 8 games out of a total of 20 that he could possibly win. And he's beaten Mike Lowe of Mike Lowe Streams and Spyveer from 1600 Dust. That's Chris Plummer's co-caster. And has lost quite mightily to the badass women of Hearthstone, Ziggy Sarah and Lore Master Eve. So Chris looking to get a little bit of redemption, maybe by way of this creative challenge, and Nate trying to stay ahead of the middle of the pack and still aim for some kind of playoff berth, if that's at all possible at this point. So if you had to make a call on these 2 lineups tonight, Animor, who do you think is favored and why?
Oh man, I hate having to choose between both of these players because they both have awesome deck lists, but I think I prefer Chris's decks a little bit more. He's got a little bit more aggression in his lineup, and I think when you're building these strange deck lists, the the decks that are going to hit the board faster and harder are going to end up on top.
Yeah, so with the by the way, since we had asked the question, if you have the deck lists, are they running Baku in any or all of these decks?
Yeah, I have confirmed that both players are running Baku in each of their deck lists. So
Wow, okay.
lots of upgraded hero powers.
So yeah, we're between let's see. So it's priests, shaman, and warrior. So the Baku hero powers there are 4 points of healing for the priests, and the shaman is, I believe, choose the basic totem that you want, and warrior is, of course, gain 4 armor, which is actually very, very powerful that we've seen so far, and that is a class that I think that is going to benefit from those nerfs tomorrow, with some of the game slowing down a little bit.
Yeah, Warrior's always been kind of on the cusp of being pretty strong. We've seen some odd Warriors doing well, but we've also seen some even Warriors start to peek their heads out a little bit. And I think with games, the mid range and the late game decks being nerfed a bit, I think Warrior's going to shine.
Yeah, I would not doubt it in the slightest. A lot of its worst matchups are kind of taking the hit from the nerf bat, as it were. So Warrior looks pretty well positioned from tomorrow on. Some of the other controlling classes or classes that have controlling archetypes definitely liking the turn slower of Call to Arms and Spiteful Summoner, and of course the Q block combo, the Possessed Lackey and whatever is going to kill the Possessed Lackey. So yeah, it's looking to be something that some Hearthstone players have always dreamed about. If the game would just slow down long enough and I could just play nothing but control decks, I'd be happy. But I don't know if that's going to be the case. I think Spiteful is still going to be a force in the meta, but I guess we're going to have to see.
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting a little bit of delay, I believe. Nate's client accidentally restarted on him. We know
Oh,
how finicky
no.
that Hearthstone client can be.
It'll happen. So yeah, while we wait for that, we're gonna go over a little bit of last week, or results as of last week in the United Hearthstone League. So the UHL is split between the Community League and the United League, and in the Community League, the honored place of Toast the Badger, Team Toast, is currently 4-0. Of course, Toast won her first 2 games, and then her collective teammate that is taking up her banner in her passing has won the last 2, and they continue the march forward, leading Community League above everyone else. The next players down are Larry, Stormrage, and Andrew from the Happy Hearthstone, each 3-1 in that league. And on the other side, in the United League, Ridiculous Hat, the standing champion of UHL from Season 1, 4-0, looking well positioned to get another playoff berth, if not another run for the finals. And behind him in second place, Ziggy Sarah from the 1600 Dust community, and she is 3-1, and everyone else is lagging behind. And this is exactly where Nate Wolf needs to try to catch up. He's 2-2, but is in a big clump of 2-2s with Spyveer and Mike Lowe. So if he wants to get into that playoff scenario, he's gonna have to win tonight for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. What was the winning record in order to make it into playoffs? Is there something set yet?
That is a fantastic question that I do not have the immediate answer for.
Well, when you don't have all the information, you might as well just win every game.
Yeah, just win every game.
Not worry about it.
Hey, and if you want to correct the caster tonight, you can go to UnitedHearthstoneLeague.com and check out all of the very functional interactive charts for all the standings, and you can tell us why we're dummies and missed out on the playoff rules with that surprise question. Let's check the client and see where our players are. They are in the match screen, so as soon as we see a queue up, we're going to jump into it. There's the eyeball, and we're going to get right to it. Chris Plummer is Rock Base in Battle.net, so you will see Rock Base on the bottom, and Nate Wolf is Wolf in Battle.net, so you will see him on the top.
Oh man, I'm really excited to see what decks they decide to start with. When you have a lineup like this, how can you think of which deck to go with? Do you just randomize it? Do you just pick one?
You know, there is always the argument of randomizing in Conquest, and especially in a matchup like this where these These decks are so unusual. That might be just the way to go, just to randomize this.
And I'm really excited to see game one, Quest Shaman.
Quest Unite the Murlocs there opening up for Rock Base. Wolf did not opt for the quest, obviously. Looks like he might have something of a dragon / combo priest working in that hand with the inner fire. But of course, no divine spirit to double health. He's going to have to do it the old fashioned way with Power Word Shield and similar effects.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate. We don't have the Cabal Talon Priest anymore to perfectly fit into this odd combo priest to make up for the lack of Divine Spirit anymore. So it's going to be really interesting to see what Nate Wolf supplements in order to make that inner fire a bit more powerful.
Wolf considering carefully his mulligan here. I don't know if they've shared their deck lists with one another. This may be a surprise to them, even though we kind of see, woof, that is a heavy hand for Wolf. And Rockbase coming out at least has a Murloc to start with. And Dollmaster Dorian, that is an interesting tech. What Dollmaster Dorian does is whenever you draw a minion, it summons a 1/1 copy. So this will help Rockbase Chris to trigger this quest to summon 10 Murlocs. And summon is also when you make copies of things.
Yeah, I'm seeing in this deck list, I'm seeing a copy of Farsight and even 2 Manatide Totems. So the draw is there, but I'm wondering if with these Murlocs, if he's going to have the time to start copying, or if he's just going to go ham and go off with these Tide Callers.
Brilliant. No, great top deck here from Wolf. Didn't have anything to play on turn 1, but the Northshire Cleric does come into hand to challenge any small boards from Chris. And Chris is going to have an immediate challenge to his single minion in his hand here, starting on turn 2.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Rockbase here, Chris doesn't really have an excellent answer to this Cleric. You don't really want to drop the Tide Caller because you're just going to be giving the Priest player a lot of card draw, so you might as well just drop a Totem.
Yeah, and of course the draw can still happen by making an attack into the totem and then using the hero power to heal the totem. That is an option, and Wolf probably will do that here. The Twilight Acolytes don't have any attack stats they want to steal just yet, and the rest of that hand quite clunky for the job in front of Wolf. But it is early in the game, no pressure, just positioning for board and crafting the hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Ooh, and we see a Worm Guard. That's probably going to see a lot more dragon synergies in this priest deck. But he hits Chris hits an excellent top deck in that Primal Fin Lookout. He's going to buff up that Tide Collar and start discovering those Murlocs and get that quest on the way.
Yeah, this is a critical inclusion for this odd Murloc deck, since the 2-cost Murlocs are missing from his deck. So the Primal Fin Lookout is going to allow Chris to pick up the more Murlocs that he needs to get all 10 of those to complete the quest. Wolf now drawing into a 5-cost minion, not able to play it. Twilight Acolyte looks like it's going to be the play here just to get a body on the board.
Yeah, 3 mana 3/4 is a good enough play, and taking 1 attack off of a Murloc, that doesn't seem too bad either.
And bumping the Stoneclaw Totem once again. No damage going into face. Rockbase picking up another Murloc with a Grimscale Oracle, and picked up the Echo Murloc, the Ghostlight Angler, last turn. So a little bit of a mid-game multiple tick on the quest. But for now, looks like he's going to go with the Grimscale Oracle to boost the board, and the Lava Burst will remove the 3/4 Twilight Acolyte and start pushing some damage into Wolf.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that play. It preserves this board. We see those 2 Bloodlusts in hand, so those are going to be relevant coming into turns 6 and 7 here. But Nate Wolf's going to drop that Twilight Acolyte and bring that Tide Collar back down to size a little bit and finish off that Stoneclaw Totem.
Yeah, Wolf playing the other Twilight Acolyte here to equalize the board, but this puts Rockbase on the initiative. Overload's going to keep him at 3, but Murloc War Leader off the top for 3 mana. That's a darn good top deck if there ever was one.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got like 3 more Murlocs on the board already. He's got options. He can trade. He can take care of that Cleric. He can even kill just the 4/4 if he wants to and push the rest of the damage to face. Opts to clear the board entirely. He must be feeling really good with that Ghostlight Angler in hand.
And a little bit of a sequencing error from Chris. He attacked with the Grimscale Oracle first, which removed the attack buff from the board. So he missed a point of damage going into Wolf. May not affect the game, but those are the kind of micro decisions that can decide close matches. Not much for Wolf to do here. Lots of heavy cards in hand. Has to go with the Nightmare Amalgam and a heal face. But that 4 points of healing is making a huge difference in extending this game here.
Yeah, with this deck building challenge, both players have to be aware of certain breakpoints where important cards are coming out. The 7-mana turn, the Psychic Scream's gotta be in Rockbase's head because it doesn't want to flood the board too much.
Ghostlight Angler here going to produce 3 ticks towards the quest that's going to put him at 7 out of 10. And is going to buff up that Tide Caller up to 8 damage on the back of the War Leader. And I can't imagine this is going anywhere but the faceplate Animor. That is a whopping ton of damage on turn 6.
Yeah, when your 1-drop reaches 8 attack, you got to be smiling.
Yeah, and, indeed.
I'm sure Chris has got a big old smile on his face. And the Psychic Scream's coming down. And you know what? Chris is probably not that bad because that Nightmare Amalgam is also a Murloc.
It is indeed. So he will get any buffs and synergies. Thrall Death Seer. We haven't seen that Death Knight in quite a while. And Dawnmaster Dorian to come down to get a little bit of a board refill. Could have gone for at least a Trailblazer there, but trying to get some more procs for the quest, looks like. And there's that Wormguard down for Wolf. 411 with Taunt. That's a big body.
Yeah, Chris is not getting through that body for a while. Oh, and this is going to become 11-11.
Yeah.
Chris is going to have to find something here.
And, you know, important thing to note about this battle is since Hex is 4 mana, Wolf knows that, and he knows that there is no answer for an 11-11 unless there's like an Earthshock hiding in Rockbase's deck. So this is a huge body that Rockbase is going to have to punch through fairly just with trades, and that is quite a lot of trades he's going to need in order to accomplish that.
Yeah, it's going to have to wait a turn in order to get through that minion, but these Manatide Totems with the Dollmaster Dorian is going to be just refilling the board.
Oh, wow.
He's in a good spot.
And the amount of power that Dollmaster Dorian is putting on board in front of these Bloodlusts. So even though he's got to expend one of them to punch through the Wormguard, wow, this Dollmaster Dorian tech is doing quite a bit of work in pushing Rockbase towards a win condition that doesn't involve Primal Fin. And look at this, Wolf coming down with the Archbishop Benedictus. Shuffle a copy of your opponent's deck into your deck. My goodness.
It's quite unfortunate that he can't get the quest, because I would love to see this game with 2 Unite the Murlocs quests going off.
Yep, and that 11-11 not going to be able to punch through to Rockbase by virtue of the 2 taunts on board. And look at that, there's the Earthshock. So this is actually a lethal setup, if I'm not mistaken, Animor. That's an Earthshock plus a Bloodlust to be done with this game 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Game 1 going to Chris. This Murloc deck, I'm punching out the aggression. Murloc Tidecallers, War Leaders, and even that Dollmaster Dorian into that Manatide Totem was just a huge top deck that allowed him to close out this game.
Yeah, the Dollmaster Dorian immediately playing dividends. This is the kind of interesting techs and techniques that you will see with these creative deck builds. And if you want to see more creative deck challenges like this, you should check out patreon.com/UnitedHS League. That's how United Hearthstone League is going to continue into the future. And let me tell you something, Animor knows this. The guy who runs this league has huge plans, and he wants to grow this thing into the stratosphere. It's already grown way out of proportion already for Season 2, but believe me, this is only the beginning.
Oh, yeah. You may think we have our eyes on Season 3. Nah, that's too short-sighted. We're looking all the way to Season 4 and beyond. We've got long-term plans for this league, and you can support it by going to patreon.com/UnitedHS League to help us get there. I love this content. Cinder, I know you love this content.
I really do.
And let's get there.
Yeah, absolutely. You can help out the other patrons by going there. And Animor, if you want to tell them to get going with game 2, I'm going to give the shout out to the mid-tier patron who earned it every week. That's Zeroshio from the Hero Power podcast. He is a boss, and he gets all kind of good perks, like us mentioning his name in his podcast every week. We could be doing that for you right now if you join him in that patron tier. And he has a chat room all to himself with all of these content creators and casters and everything else. You should get there and help us grow this league and get some of those rewards, because I think they're pretty cool.
That's so exclusive. Zeroshio is a cool guy. I've known him for about a year and a half now. I played with him in THL a couple times. So Zeroshio is a good dude. If you like UHL and Zeroshio, you can join him by becoming a patron.
All right, we're jumping now into game 2. Chris is going to switch over to the Priest, and I see the Spellstone, and I like the look of that. Nate Wolf going to switch over to the Warrior, and I also like the look of that. Darius Crowley is super secret, one of the best cards in the last expansion, and my goodness, is that a golden Dragon Soul on the side?
That's a golden Dragon Soul. Hell yes.
Ooh, spicy. You know what, though? I have one of these myself. I was lucky enough to pack that in the last expansion, and I still haven't yet found a good use for it. So if Chris finds a good use for it right now, I am really excited to see what he has in store for this.
Yeah, I think actually the best use for a golden Dragon Soul, actually you put it in your deck, then you take it out of your deck, you dust it, and you can get any legendary you want and put that in your deck instead.
I feel personally attacked right now, Animor. But look at this, though. This tank up, I think, is probably the most powerful Baku hero power. I remember back in the day when Justicar True Heart was enough to get you there on turn 6. Now you can do it from turn 1. And that seems pretty good to me. But Rockbase is going to see how his Priest deck lines up against Wolf's Rush deck, which I really like the look of this. Odd Rush Warrior is it's unique, and it's definitely not something you see on ladder, but I think it has potential.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some tempo coming out from this deck, so it can both outpace this Priest deck and also tank up and go late if he has to.
Yeah, and Rockbase does have the Dragon Soul in hand, and I would have to assume there's lots of 1 mana and 3 mana spells available to him in this deck, and he's going to start drawing into some of those by virtue of that Northshire Cleric bumping into the Town Crier. And Wolf, though, has some of those great rush tempo minions on tap to be able to trade into this early board and start seizing the board away from Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. It's turn 3. You have Dragon Soul in hand. Cinder, what do you do?
I think you just go ahead and play the Dragon Soul. It just, especially with the hero power buffed up from Baku, the 4 health heal. You have time to kind of recover that you probably wouldn't have with the regular 2 mana or 2 health heal power. So I like just equipping the Dragon Soul here, but he's not going to do it. He's going to go with a Thought Steal.
That's interesting. I was a fan of the Dragon Soul play because next turn you've got the coin, you've got several 3-drops, you've got 1 cosmic cards in hand. You can just make a 5/5 every single turn.
Yeah, and he's even punished a little bit because he took a Whirlwind out of Wolf's hand, and Wolf played an Acolyte of Pain. So that Whirlwind now kind of sits dead. Crystalline Oracle going to hit the board. Rockbase Chris seems to be going along the route of just take everything out of your opponent's deck, and once again, passing on the Dragon Soul with cheap spells in hand. I really want to see this Dragon Soul hit the board right now. Oh
yeah,
I
can't wait to talk to him about that.
Well, the coin's coming out now. See, if he would have sequenced this correctly, he'd have gotten 2 ticks on that sucker already. So
yeah, it's turn 4, so it might as well just not get a free 5/5. Yeah, I don't know. I love Dragon Soul so much. I feel like the moment it's in your hand and you have mana, you play that.
Oh, Wolf likes it too. Emotes the By My Beard, but Darius Crowley going to come out and become a 6/5 on turn 5 that also takes out a minion. That is a powerful, powerful minion to hit the board, and Rockbase now way behind the tempo, and he's got a lot of catching up to do here.
Yeah, I feel like because he didn't play that Dragon Soul early, and he's not catching up in tempo as a result of that, and he doesn't have any way to answer this board until turn 7. And you know, Cinder, that just might be too late.
It might be. Wolf still has fuel in hand. At least the Trailblazer is a decent body on turn 5. Countess Ashmore is going to produce another body on 7 and draw some cards. I would have to imagine that Wolf put her in that deck specifically to draw Lifesteal and Rush, and maybe even a Death Rattle out of the deck. And this Rotten Apple Bomb is going to stop a little bit of damage, but not much. Darius Crowley only grows further every time he kills a minion. So he's quickly becoming out of hand of Rock Base to be able to handle.
Yeah, and he's just going to develop another 5/5. I got a little bit of insight. Nate Wolf actually said he looked at Countess Ashmore and he decided that was the first card he was going to put in his deck, and he was going to devote the rest of the deck to building around it.
I love it. She definitely has the feel of the Curator, and the Curator was kind of a central pin in a lot of decks. Because of the draw ability. Mind Vision, picking up a Brawl. My goodness, Whoa! That's exactly what Rock Base needed here. He's going to be able to clear out possibly everything down to a 1/1.
Yeah, that kind of RNG is exactly what Chris needed in order
to no, Darius wins the Brawl.
Oh, wow. That's so unfortunate.
Oh, no. And Wolf has plenty of juice. Ashmore's going to give him even more, and he's just going to continue to press the advantage here. Oh, that is some chunky minions that just came out of the deck for Wolf.
That's a Bloodworm.
Hey, man, 5 mana, 4/4 with Lifesteal. Why not? And Rock Base just really with almost no answers. He can Psychic Scream and save himself from lethal. He's reaching for the Spellstone, though, to get the Rotten Apple Bomb back out of onto the board. But I don't think I like that. I think if Wolf has something like an Ironbeak Owl, this game's over.
Yeah, and I wouldn't put that around Wolf. I think if you're building odd decks, you might as well just put Ironbeak Owl in them.
In fact, with another Rush minion from hand, the Rabid Worgen, this actually is almost lethal by itself. Because Ashmore, actually, if the Worgen could go face, it would be. But it can't. So Ashmore's going to have to punch through this Rotten Apple Bomb. But Crowley's still going to put 8 damage to the face. And plus the +4 healing. But this is still lethal on the next turn.
Yeah, Rock Base is going to be forced to drop that Psychic Scream in order just to stay alive. And once again, he's not able to make a 5/5 from that Dragon Soul.
Although I think the Psychic Scream will create it, but he does get the card from the Crystalline Oracle. We had a hard time last cast with this one. Fester Root Hulk. Obscure card,
Whoa.
But that's what it is. Here comes the Psychic Scream from Rock Base to reset the board. But Wolf is 30 health and has initiative and a full hand. Don't think he's going to have any problem repopulating this board.
Yeah, absolutely not. Fortunately for Chris, he's sitting on that Obsidian statue. So if Nate Wolf doesn't have any form of silence or removal, that's going to remove a minion and also give him a bunch of life.
5 mana, 8/8, the Bittertide Hydra. The damage not even really mattering from hitting into the Hydra because of that tank up hero power, 4 armor for 2 mana. So I think he doesn't care if that Hydra gets hit once or twice, like from this Whirlwind. And Rock Base needs to cast some of these small spells to try and get those 5/5s out of the Dragon Soul. Here comes the very first, not even the very first one. I was expecting one by now, and we still haven't seen one pop out.
Yeah, very surprising. I love it.
Oh, it's 3 spells in a turn. I thought that the ticks carried over from turn to turn. I could be mistaken.
No, and due to sequencing issues, he could have had multiple 5/5s in the previous turns.
Yeah, so he's doing what he can to try and heal, draw, stall a little bit. Spellstone is going to bring back an Apple Bomb. So that's at least a turn more he gets to live, and he finally gets 5/5 online with the Dragon Spirits from the Dragon Soul. But again, Wolf with plenty of things to do with 10 mana, and certainly has an embarrassment of riches in his hand as far as threats go.
Yeah, I want to take a moment to highlight Chris's turn there. Just playing Obsidian Statue was absolutely the safe play, but knowing that his opponent is most likely sitting on some kind of removal or a silence, he had to play to win there and drop the Spellstone and hope for an Apple Bomb, because the positive result there would definitely put him in a much better position, and it absolutely did.
Yep, and the Brawl is won by the Northshire Cleric, probably the best result Wolf could have asked for. goes ahead and develops an Apple Bomb behind it for his remaining 5 mana. Not the strongest of boards, and now Rockbase is going to consider if and how he can get back into this game by way of, as you noted, that Obsidian statue, such a huge body and a huge threat for any development that Wolf wants to do for the next turn.
Yeah, and I would love to see him bump this cleric and play the Holy Water on that Apple Bomb and develop a dragon from the Dragon Soul. I think removing a minion, adding cards to hand, and filling your board is just an excellent play this turn.
And Rockbase passing on the bomb and going with a little more development in the hand, fishing for cheap spells to trigger that Dragon Soul once again. I don't think he's going to get one here with his remaining 3 mana, but it's really hard to pass up Frothing Berserker plus Whirlwinds, although if he goes with that, then the Apple Bomb just trades it away, and I think Chris kind of realizes his error there and passes on playing any more cards. Wolf going into turn 10 with still plenty of gas to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I misread it. I thought it was 3 cards, but it's actually 3 spells on the Dragon Soul. So I'm a little bit late to the party.
Yeah, same. Dollmaster Dorian now Wolf using that very interesting legendary from this most recent set, the Witchwood, and it's gonna create more bodies. But does this warrior deck have ways to leverage it? I guess so with Rush, but it is only 1/1 tokens, not quite as powerful as when combined with Bloodlust. But we'll see. We'll see what interesting things Wolf can do with it. Rockbase now going to go ahead and cast some cheap spells to try to get down a 5/5.
Yeah, he could have bumped it in, gotten a little bit more damage, but might not make a difference at this point. He's going to go for the Holy Smite. I want to see this Holy Water. He's got 2 of them in his deck. I'd like to see them being put to use.
Hey, there's Dorian. He's 5 health. Go for it. Because that does put a copy into his hand. He could utilize that.
Yeah, I think that would absolutely be one of the best options at this point.
Decent options there. Cleave is yet another cheap spell, but he goes for the Rabid Worgen because the Glimmer Root, you have to guess which card is the correct one. And Rockbase with an easy pick there, since 2 of them were 2 mana. They definitely weren't in the deck. And Rockbase goes for the Stonehill Defender, interestingly, and gets a copy of it in his hand.
I have to strongly disagree with that play. He had the ability to remove both the Stonehill and the Dollmaster Dorian while adding that Dollmaster to his hand. As a result, Wolf is going to get a free Frothing Berserker, and that 2/5 is going to sit on the board.
Yeah, and I don't know that the Berserker is going to get a chance to develop, although that Tar Lord is definitely going to try and make that happen. And he also plays the one he drew from his hand onto the board, and that's going to build up a ton of power over the next turn or two.
Yeah, absolutely. That Holy Water can remove any of those minions except for the Tar Lord. Thought Steel is going to give him a little bit more options. Whew, this is a Black Gunspire.
Wow, this may be the only time you ever see this actually played, folks. Watch and let's see if Rockbase can actually make something happen with that Gunspire. But at the moment, he's just going to expend spells to try and get another Dragon Soul or a Dragon Spirit on the board. There we go. Holy Water hitting one of the Berserkers to put it into hand. Finally, an offensive use for that.
Yeah, and I think that was the correct target there. But unfortunately, since he didn't kill that Dollmaster Dorian a bit earlier, this extra Frothing Berserker, he doesn't have an answer for it, and it's just going to get much stronger. And with that pickup, with the Whirlwind, he can't use it because it would kill the Berserker.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's going to have to do damage in other ways to make it happen, but trades are certainly one way to do it, and he's got a couple of trades he can make to bump up 4 more attack on this Berserker and still play some stuff onto the board behind it. Board looking firmly in Wolf's hand, but Rockbase has managed to somewhat stabilize. But Wolf's just going to try and close this out with this Frothing Berserker, not even bothering with trades. I don't know about the world. Oh, he's drawing a card from the Whirlwind. Okay, but he's killing off a Frothing Berserker for it. I'm so interested by that.
It doesn't seem like that would be the correct play, considering that that Rockbase here revealed that he didn't have an answer to it behind that Tar Lord.
Right. That seems like that was your gravy train for lethal next turn. Why would you give that up for a card? I don't know, but Wolf seems to be confident that he can win this game without it, and he's going to continue playing for total board control here. Rock Base practically playing with Wolf's deck at this point. The only card that remains in his hand, aside from the one he just drew from the beginning of the game, is the Obsidian Statue. Every other card in Chris's hand he stole from Wolf.
Yeah, look at all these warrior cards in the priest player's hand. This is insane. He can even draw Black Howl Gunspire and a Holy Smite it and just pray. But you know what? He's got much better options in hand at the moment. His opponent revealed dropping lots of cards that he probably isn't sitting on a silence, so Obsidian Statue doesn't look too bad, but instead opts for those Frothing Berserker.
At what point do you just drop the Black Howl Gunspire and Holy Smite it just for the lulz?
I mean, I feel like you do that immediately, considering the deck building challenge that both of these players are doing. But you know, they didn't play the Dragon Soul on turn 3, so I gotta question exactly what their motives are.
Yeah, I think Chris is still trying to win this game. I think we may have crossed the point where he just needs to meme this game. He's going to shut off any more additional card draw from that Acolyte by hitting it with the Holy Smite.
Town Crier comes out of the Dollmaster.
And interestingly, is the Town Crier a rush minion?
I don't think
Why is he active? I don't know.
Because it was drawn on Chris's
turn.
off
turn. Oh, that's right. From the Acolyte. Oh, there you go.
Wait.
Wow. Darius Crowley, what are you doing?
Where did that first Darius Crowley come from? This is
we've seen wait. It was a Psychic Scream that put him into the deck, and then but how did it get back into Wolf's deck? I'm so confused now. What's happening anymore? What planet is this? What year is this?
Wolf dropped it on turn 5 on curve. Many turns later, Chris Psychic Screamed it, and 15, however many turns later, we see it once again, but he duplicates himself because of that Dollmaster Dorian.
Oh, right. Like, with the Priest that... Wolf played Priest last game, and then now Chris is playing Warrior cards out of his Priest deck. I'm so confused, Animor. Like, it took me a second to realize the Psychic Scream actually went into Wolf's deck and not into Chris's. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man. And I gotta say, I hate the fact that I see 2 Obsidian Statues in Chris's hand when I feel like both of them could have provided such useful board presence and removal at some point.
King Mosh comes into the hand for Wolf, and a copy gets played by Dollmaster Dorian. I love King Mosh. It is one of the best board clears available to Warrior. But this is not the game state where Wolf wants to play it. He just needs to find a way to punch through this 8 health worth of taunts and deliver 11 more points to Rockbase's face. Rockbase running out of cards in hand, but 2 of them are Obsidian Statues, and those are going to play havoc with Wolf's ability to punch through to the face.
Yeah, he does have a Dream in hand, which would have gotten him very close to lethal, but not quite. He could just remove these Serenite Chain Gangs, Dream, the massive Frothing Berserker, and just maintain this board presence, which is exactly what he's going to do, and I have to agree.
Yeah, with the Obsidian Statue, oh man, 2 Yseras on the board, he might get another Dream, which will allow him to push past those Obsidian Statues. Emerald Drake off of the 1/1, and an Emerald Drake off of the other, so not quite there yet. Obsidian Statue still an obstacle that Wolf's going to have to punch through, assuming Chris plays it.
Absolutely. Those 2 Emerald Drakes are just going to be extra fuel, more threats in case Chris somehow manages to get... I guess he hasn't gotten the second Psychic Scream yet. So another board removal is definitely something that Wolf has to be a little bit scared of. But fortunately for him, that's not in Chris's hand at the moment. The Obsidian Statue and the Binding Healer are gonna what he's gonna do to hope that he can stabilize here.
There is the one thing that Wolf also has to consider too is this Dollmaster's continuing to clog up his board with 1/1s. Darius Crowley just gonna go ahead and punch into the statue now, and clips one of the 1/1s, which I think is exactly what Wolf wanted. Not quite lethal for Wolf yet, thanks to all the healing that came from the statue and the Binding Heal, but gonna create even more threats here with the Stonehill Defender, and just gonna continue pushing damage and try to get past Rockbase's defense.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is what Ben Brode envisions when he thinks of Hearthstone, because that Tallmaster Dorian is putting in work. It's like Primal Fin Totem or Morose on drugs, because it's just pumping out powerful 1/1 dragons and dinosaurs, and there's a 10-3 on board, and somehow Chris is still in this game.
Somehow or another. The Holy Nova comes into hand for Chris, but it is not enough to clear the board. He would still be facing lethal on his side. The Obsidian statue seems to be the only play, and hope that it hits Darius Crowley and save lethal from the board while doing a little bit of healing. That's the play he's going to go for. And Wolf does have the Nightmare in hand from Ysera recently, so he's got options to be able to punch through this 4-8 and hope that Crowley... Oh, he's going to trade away Crowley. Oh, my.
Yeah, I think that's the best play, right? Because yeah, he's got
now it's lethal
much damage on board. Oh, he plays his own Gunspire.
Because why not? But Nightmare is going to give Wolf the lethal. That's going to allow him to take a game in the series. Game is now tied 1-1 in this crazy, odd Baku mirror match deck challenge. Animor, my goodness, what is happening?
I don't know, and it's amazing. I'm having a blast, and I hope everyone in the chat is having a blast right now as well.
Yeah, and if you want to catch even more crazy stuff like this, we have matches going on literally all week, every week, while UHL is on season. Let's give you a little bit of a taste of what's coming up this week. After today, we have on Wednesday a bit of a double header. I think they're playing at the same time. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to split those streams, but it's going to be Andrew versus Donnie playing for Team Toast. And Donnie has really become quite a content creator overnight. She's kind of become an overnight sensation with her meta in the minute, and you should definitely check out her YouTube channel, Dragon Rider, if you want to catch that. And then on the other side of the league, Green Speed versus Red Knight, a bit of colorblind battle going on there on Wednesday night. Both of those happening at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Thursday night is Versika from Hero Power Podcast versus reigning champion Ridiculous Hat from everywhere, and especially the Coin Concede podcast. That happens at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Friday night is Alaria, another badass women of Hearthstone, versus Dirty Rod Johnston. That's going to be Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. And then we got matches on Saturday, too. Ziggy Sarah from 1600 Dust, another badass woman of Hearthstone, facing off against Mike Lowe. That's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. Matches going on all the time, almost literally every day. Follow them on the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/UnitedHSLeague. You're here right now. Go hit that follow button and make sure you're up to date on when matches are happening. Animor, while we get the players going on their next match, which, if not all, of these matches are you most looking forward to?
So these unique deck lists from Chris and Nate Wolf have really gotten me in the mood to see some more awesome ideas. And actually, a couple days ago, I casted a mesh routine between Versika and, oh gosh, I can't remember who. Actually, it was Chris. It was Chris. And Versika brought 3 awesome deck lists, totally unique, not something I'd seen before. He's a solid deck builder. So on Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern, I liked Versika versus Arhat.
That's going to be a good time. So Chris is not giving up on this deck. Maybe he will play the Dragon Soul on turn 3 this time. Wolf's going to switch over to the Shaman. What does this Shaman look like, Animor? You have the deck list on your side. I see that Spellstone. I like it. But what's the strategy, do you think, going in with this deck?
This is a very control-heavy Shaman. And ironically, it has Dust Devil in it.
All right, then.
Can you imagine some kind of control Shaman with Dust Devil? Because I see it right in front of me and my brain can't process it.
I mean, I guess when you have deck slots freed up by the loss of the likes of Hex and Hagatha, you try to fill in that curve however you can. But interesting choice, though, because there are quite a lot of control tools available for Shaman on odd numbered mana, including Snow Fury Crusher, which is 11 mana. Is this a Snow Fury Crusher deck, or is this just going to be a pure control deck?
Oh, absolutely. He's getting a little help in the early game from the Dust Devil and those Drakari defenders, but he also has Earth Elemental on 5. He's also packing Master Oakheart, so we're gonna see a Dust Devil and Drakari defender coming out on turn 9 as
And
well.
Chris just went with the Thought Steal and picked up the Drakari Defender, and he is thinking to himself, in what world did I ever think that anyone would unironically play Drakari Defender in a Shaman deck? Oh, an interesting pickup from the Stonehill Defender. He goes with the Witch's Apprentice to generate a random Shaman spell. That's an interesting choice.
Yeah, absolutely. After playing against this priest deck from Chris, Wolf decides that this game is probably going to go long, so he's going to pick up that Witch's Apprentice to give himself a little bit extra fuel going on in the future.
Yeah, and not facing any real pressure, Rockbase decides to not develop. Not that he had much to develop unless he wanted to play the Drakari Defender. I don't see it. There's the Dust Devil. Overloads a tad. Farsight going to pick up a discounted card. Ooh, didn't want to hit the Earthshock, though. Usually want to hit something 3 or better there.
Yeah, but I guess a free silence when you have a Dusk Devil on board isn't terrible. He's got a little bit of burst that he can toss down if Rockbase just decides to develop one taunt.
And Rockbase can go ahead and deploy one of those Holy Waters to pick up a whatever he wants. Oh, he's reaching for the Stonehill Defender. Oh my. Or not Stonehill. The Drakari Defender. And now he's overloaded for 3 on turn 6. And will have literally no play unless he picks up a 3-mana card from the top.
Yeah, and I don't blame you for mistaking Drakari Defender for Stonehill Defender, but Drakari is actually double the stats of Stonehill Defender.
It is.
So, we're gonna see 6 damage and the 7 from the Stonehill Defender going face. That Earthshock paying off for Nate Wolf.
And Wolf kind of has to start playing some cards here because the Manatide Totem is going to continue to fill his hand with an extra card every turn, and it's going to start burning cards unless he gets rid of it somehow. And with a control deck with lots of overloads, that could be very problematic for Wolf.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have when your biggest threat is your own Manatide Totem.
Yeah, true enough. The Lava Burst is going to come down and remove that 2/5. I mean, he didn't even really have to remove it. I don't think it was any threat. But 6 damage again from this 1-mana Dust Devil. And more cards coming in hand for Wolf, and it's getting mighty tight up there, I got to tell you.
Yeah, he keeps holding on to these Holy Waters when he could use them to remove the Dust Devil or that Manatide Totem, and instead opts to use that premium removal in Psychic Scream. I don't know. It's kind of scary.
And Wolf, I think he was waiting out that Psychic Scream and deploys the Earth Elemental, the 7/8 taunt. Rockbase with no answer to it right now. The Obsidian statues will be available next turn, but this turn he's facing 7 more damage after taking 12 off that Dust Devil. Picks up the Witch's Apprentice. Could he get a Hex here?
Very interesting.
Well, Frost Shock is okay.
Freeze is good, you know?
Yeah.
I played Freeze Mage for many years, and when I'm playing other classes, I never hate to see freeze effects.
Yeah, especially when you're at 18 and your opponent is showing 7 on board plus a full grip. So he's more than happy to give himself an extra turn of breathing room against that Earth Elemental. And Wolf, with the overload starting to roll in turn after turn, that Snow Fury Crusher is sitting at 1 mana in his hands. So a potential huge refill available for Wolf, and then he's going to be able to follow it up with the Spellstone, which is just absolutely gross with those Snow Fury Giants.
Yeah, I want to call attention to the fact that Rockbase has a Sapphire Spellstone. He doesn't even have the lesser version. He has the medium version of it in his hand.
So when the other player upgrades the stone and you take it via, Thought Steal or whatever, it actually comes in upgraded. That's really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure if he got it when it was already upgraded, but he did play that Drakari Defender earlier on in the game.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
It's possible that the priest player upgraded the Shaman Spellstone himself.
So if Chris's strategy here was to steal and play with his opponent's decks, it's kind of working. But at 9 mana facing down that Earth Elemental, I think Obsidian Statue is the play. Gonna get some healing and remove something off the board on the Death Rattle in. That is what he goes for. But Wolf has the tools available to punch through this if he wants. Lightning Bolt now coming in hand off the top just to prove the point. Earth Shock going to silence it and put a point of damage on it. Wolf could trade, but I think he's going to go face.
Yeah, you absolutely probably want to ignore that 4/7 because it's not doing absolutely anything to you. It's going to remove your 1/4, but you don't care about that.
Oh, hey, he's going to freeze it. Okay, well, why not?
Avalanche. Yeah, I think if you're Chris, the name of the game right now is sticking an obsidian statue and then making 2 copies of it with that sapphire spellstone. If you can manage.
My goodness, yeah. So because as of right now, it is summoning 2 copies of friendly minion, but he's going to drop his other one in lieu of making 2 copies of the first one, which makes sense because he would get copies of Silence Frozen 4/7s, and it's not what he wants at this point. He wants the full deal. And hoping that Wolf does not trade into it.
Yeah, he doesn't want that late into the game. However, he is sitting on 2 diamond spellstones as well. I don't like keeping track of more than 1 spellstone. He has 3 in hand, and 2 of them are different classes. Oh my goodness.
And here come that 0 mana Snow Fury, giant sapphire spellstone hovering over it. He's considering it, although Wolf does have to consider the possibility of a Psychic Stream. Oh, Okard pulls out a ton of power onto the board. My goodness.
That's not what you see every day.
Oh, and then the Psychic Scream gets top decked by Chris, so now he can answer it immediately.
What a powerful top deck from Chris. He can follow it up with a Curious Glimmer Root, funny enough. Yeah. But, you know, I don't want to see any of those cards again. I wish he had a way to deal with them and remove them completely. But unfortunately, those are all got to be going back into the deck.
Including the obsidian statue, unless he trades it away somehow, which actually he might do here. He might use the Holy Smite to... Nope, he's not going to... He's going to say you can't have your Earth Elemental, but you can have my obsidian statue. Yeah, he wants to reserve that mana for a 3/3 and seize the board, but Diamond's Spellstone going to resurrect some minions for Rock Base. Earth Elemental. Yeah. Tempting on the Earth Elemental.
Yeah, well, he's already seen it, so he knows it's the choice.
Hey, don't get fooled by that avalanche. He did play it, but it didn't come out of the deck.
We did see an avalanche in this game coming down from Nate Wolf. Personally, I think I would have liked to see him Holy Smite his obsidian statue because give him an additional chance to resurrect it off of that spellstone, just in case he rolls low on that resurrection.
And second Snow Fury Giant coming down behind a Spellstone. That's 4 8/8s for 7 mana for Wolf. And Rock Base now out of Psychic Screams. No way to answer this board. He can play out the Earth Elemental to slow the damage a little bit, but even that wouldn't be enough to save him from lethal. I don't know what he does outside of Spellstone and Prey at this point.
Yeah, and you don't normally see this many 8/8s come down in one turn unless you're playing Wild, which I think Nate Wolf is pretty familiar with Wild. Maybe that was his inspiration here. I'm not sure.
Yes, Nate Wolf of the Into the Wild podcast knows just a little bit about the Wild format. But yeah, this Earth Elemental is not enough to stop these 8/8s from connecting to Rock Base's face. Healing, the hero power is the only thing that's going to save him from lethal, assuming that Wolf does not top deck some way to answer the 7/8 off the top. He does not. But
that Alakir, I believe, represents lethal.
Oh, that's true. He does have an Alakir up there. My goodness. You know, with these upside down cards, it's a little tough sometimes. Alakir going to come down and deliver the lethal push for Wolf. Wolf going to go up 2-1 in the series in this odd deck building challenge from these two podcasters.
Yeah, Alakir coming down and ending the game like it's 2015.
Man, Alakir is a basic or a classic set card. I think people forget about that card sometimes. He doesn't see a lot of play, although the Even Shaman Animor looks pretty tempting after these nerfs, I gotta say.
Yeah, people were already saying it seems really strong in the current position. I haven't had any success with it myself, but you know, I trust what other people are saying. And with the nerfs coming to all these really powerful decks at the moment, you gotta think it's gotta be one of the strong decks.
Oh yeah, I think at the very least it will be a way to contest any of the new aggro decks that may develop. Odd Rogue can come up. Murloc Paladin might become the dominant Paladin class, and even Shaman is a great way to answer all of those. I tell you what, but I would not be sad if Control Shaman saw its day once again, because there was a time and that was a good deck, and I miss it, and would not be sad to be playing 0 mana 8/8s with that get 4 copies on board. That would be a nice day.
Yeah, that was a really for such wacky legendaries with odd costs playing the same classes. We've seen some pretty powerful swing turns from both Nate Wolf and Chris here, and I got to say I'm really impressed with this series so far, going into Game 4.
I think both players were not confident with their deck builds, but they have been matched up as surprisingly well, and they've both been. I mean, there have been some sequencing errors here and there, but fairly well identifying, the key decision in each game, and trying their best to play it out. So I got to give them credit for this deck building challenge so far. Wolf now, as I recall, is playing more of an inner fire deck, and Rockbase playing the theft version of Priest. So we might see a mirror match after all if Chris steals enough cards.
Yeah, it looks like Nate Wolf he's got that inner fire, but he's also playing Void Rippers in his deck. He's playing minions with high health cards like a Nightmare Amalgam on turn 3. It's only got 4 health, but he's also got like Benedictus. He's got Nightmare Matriarch. So I mean, he's got ways to just develop minions and Void Ripper them and just start punching out some damage.
Yep, big butts are the name of the game. Ooh, Azalina Soul Thief is some information for Chris going into the rest of this match. And Wolf going to be guessing what card he might have picked up. Nightmare Amalgam, though, going to come down and present a threat to that Northshire Cleric. Rockbase going to just have to be content to steal cards for the time being.
Yeah, unfortunately, Nate Wolf is going to be just dropping minions and developing some pressure. And Chris doesn't really have a whole heck of a lot he can do. Even if he draws with his Northshire Cleric, his opponent, the other Priest player, is also going to be drawing cards, and you don't really want to see that when they're the beatdown.
Yeah, although there's something to be said, the fact that Chris is currently 3 cards ahead in the card count, so further draws, puts him at 8 versus 5, 9 versus 6. So it's, you want to keep your opponent to as few cards as possible, because that gap in the card advantage, closes the more cards both players draw. And Wolf drawing cards of his own here. Goes for the Void Ripper right away. That's 11 damage.
He's making the guess that his opponent doesn't have an answer to this one attack minion, but he would be wrong, because we see in Chris's hand he's got Holy Smite, but that's pretty much all he's going to be able to do this turn, Cinder. I'm not sure what else he can do other than heal his own face.
For 4, I guess. Still haven't seen that Dragon Soul again in the third match here for Chris with this Priest. Another Nightmare Amalgam coming down for Wolf to refill the board, applying extra pressure. But as we've seen, that upgraded hero power, it makes it quite difficult to grind this Priest down to lethal, even with this kind of pressure.
Yeah, and we used to see this in the end of the Argent tournament meta when the Priest started playing. What was her name? The 6/3? I can't even remember.
Justicar Trueheart.
Yes, absolutely, Justicar. They would play that, and decks would be able to develop a little bit of pressure on the board, but they just couldn't kill the Priest players, because healing 4 health is a lot like tank up, and it's just difficult to punch through.
Wolf had to hero power pass on 30 health because of the expensiveness of the cards in hand, and he didn't want to play Void Ripper yet. That's part of his win condition, but Benedictus just landed into the hand off the top. That's going to be super fun to see. Nightmare Amalgam will challenge the Void Ripper, and Rockbase heading into his late game as well. But I think he wants to see that Dragon Soul to start refilling the board, because right now, Lear the Sunshard is his only threat, and Azalina or Benedictus doubles up on Wolf's deck, and they have each stolen plenty of cards from one another. Let the chaos ensue, Animor.
Yeah, and we've seen plenty of chaos already, but Nate Wolf decides that that's not enough for him. He's just going to combine the two of their decks together and find this disgusting amalgamation of odd cost cards and legendaries.
And that Psychic Scream, this feels a little premature, but Wolf gonna get perhaps a second crack at that Benedictus to grow his deck even further. But it's an interesting call because Benedictus was played on the board at 7 mana. Chris may have gotten the whiff that Wolf didn't have any other threat to play on 7. So if that's true, then he really has no other threat to play on 8, and that ends up being the correct read.
Yeah, and I think if Nate Wolf can manage to deal with every single threat that Rockbase puts out, due to the fact that Benedictus is in his deck again, he can make everyone here suffer through a really long game.
And then Rockbase could, with Curious Glimmer Roots and Crystalline Oracles, steal Benedictus for himself if he wanted to. Does he grab the Obsidian statue and hope?
Yeah, looks like
that's what he did.
What he's gonna do.
I don't blame him for that one at all. But Wolf, though, on 9 mana, will get an opportunity to play one of two threats, either the Alexstrasza or the Baku the Moon Eater, but Rockbase being able to fill up with some small minions and create a little bit of counter pressure on his own and set up for perhaps a Lyra turn to just start powering through these small spells and generate some threats.
Yeah. Oh, man, this is an excellent moment for Chris to use that Holy Water.
Yeah, this is going to be great. Trade in a few minions, grab Alexstrasza for yourself, be able to either offensively or defensively use her Chameleos coming into the hand for Chris. So he's going to get even more information on what that hand is and might get... Oh my goodness!
We did not just see another Dragon Soul come into his hand.
His own Dragon Soul that was put into the deck by Benedictus on Wolf's side of the board. So Rockbase didn't draw it, but he got it anyway in the most roundabout fashion possible. If he doesn't play it now, Animor, I'm going to be really, really mad.
Yeah, you got to. We've seen way
Come
more.
on!
No! We've seen way more Dragon Souls in this series than I think I've ever seen. Ever.
Chris, we need to talk, bro. There's another Benedictus coming off the top, I believe. Yes. So another 16 cards added to Wolf's deck is now 53 cards deep.
This is disgusting. Chris needs to put on some form of pressure or we're going to be here until tomorrow.
I gotta believe that fatigue is not part of Chris's plan at this point, so you might need to figure out how you're going to start developing some pressure. Well, Lyra is a play. I think I would... Yeah, I mean, it's either that or the Dragon Soul, right? You have to use one or the other to start leveraging these cheap pells, and actually Lyra might be the smart way to do it, because she'll continue to generate spells that he can use for the Dragon Soul in future turns.
Yeah, but I think he sequenced this a little bit wrong. I think he should have held that Lyra until the following turn. Played that Dragon Soul this turn because he has several cheap cards in hand. He knows he's got that Inner Fire in Nate Wolf's hand, and due to Lyra generating even more resources for him, he could get multiple 5/5s in the coming turns.
That is a very nice Lyra card to generate. Brings Lyra up to 10 health. And Inner Fire could make this a very interesting match all of a sudden. At least the Trailblazer coming into Wolf's hands to create another card for his deck if he wants it. Void Ripper, though, going to allow Wolf to remove that Lyra and stop that chain of cards from coming through.
Yeah, absolutely. That Shadow Essence is huge, especially when you can't put them into your deck. And you can pick up some of your cheaper spells or even some of your more expensive spells like that Diamond Spellstone to continuously develop threats against this ridiculous 53 card deck from Nate Wolf.
Chris picks up one of his Obsidian statues, which is honestly not a bad play here, but thinking about the Alexstrasza to set Wolf to 15, although she is immediately challenged by what's on board. I mean, think about this. Chris had Alexstrasza played on him last turn and is already back to 29. So I can understand deploying the threat, but this is probably not the way to win if you don't have, like triple Mind Blast or something like that to finish out this game.
Yeah, and I'm a bit out of my comfort zone here because I have no idea how either player is going to win this game, let alone how they're planning to win this game. I thought Dragon Soul was how Chris was going to plan to win these games, but apparently not, Cinder.
And Psychic Scream on a 2-mana, 2-minion board going into Rockbase's deck. Board was clean once again. We're back to square one. Rockbase has a great opportunity here to drop this Obsidian statue. Although he could have held that Power Word Shield to be used with Dragon Soul Animore. I'm very disappointed.
Oh man, I'm in a very high stress frame of mind right now. Every turn that Dragon Soul does not hit the board, I get a little more upset.
Wolf picking up the Ungoro pack and able to get 5 more cards in hand, as if his deck needed any more cards. Charged Devilsaur gonna punch in quite a chunk of damage on that Obsidian statue, but heals Rockbase basically up to full. Now he's got 2 Dragon Souls in hand. Chris,
this is madness.
Was he refusing to play the non-golden version? Is that what happened?
That's what I'm thinking. That's gotta be his frame of mind, right?
We're gonna do an interview after this match, and we're gonna do some good cop, bad cop maybe, and figure out what's going on with this Dragon Soul. Picks up a Power Word Shield off of the Shadow Visions, which might allow him to get a 5/5 out of the Dragon Soul immediately, which is exactly what he needs to start doing to create some pressure, because this is not a fatigue game. He's not going to fatigue through 51 cards in a 9-card hand. He needs to create some pressure here, I think.
Yeah, he can absolutely heal up and shield that Obsidian statue and get it out of range to trading with that Obsidian statue. But he doesn't have much follow-up for that.
Yep, does not manage to get a 3rd spell to get the Dragon Soul rolling, but the Hero Power will push it out of trade range of the Devilsaur and set Wolf to 15 and heal himself back up to 30. Mind Visions that came from Chris's deck coming into Wolf's hand, and this, what I can only call the Priest Mirror of total insanity.
Yeah, that's and we even see a Stormwatcher come down. We see Evolving Spores and Stegodon in hand for Wolf. I don't know. I have no idea.
Another Obsidian statue coming into hand for Rockbase. Not enough spells to generate a Dragon Spirit, however. Although Shadow Madness is certainly an option. He could just randomly generate a minion from his deck. Spellstone also an option. He's up to 3 random minions, which is not bad. But yeah, gonna go ahead and throw down the statue and challenge that Stormwatcher right away.
Yeah, he says you managed to deal with my first one, but most players can't deal with the second one.
Speaking of generating dragons, Animore,
You're
Night Scale Matriarch is drawn into the hand for Wolf. And with the amount of healing that's going to be going on in this game, that's a lot of whelps that I think is about to come down. And a Steam Surger, just because, we needed a mage card or 2 in this Priest Mirror that's stealing each other's cards.
Yeah, we're seeing this crazy priest, warrior, other priest, also elemental, odd legendary priest deck from Nate Wolf. I gotta say, it's very impressive.
Well, this is an interesting risk that Nate Wolf is taking, using the Inner Fire to punch through and try to get the Wind Fury payoff, but the Obsidian Statue's Death Rattle kills the Stormwatcher, and now Elise going into the hand for Rockbase. So now he'll have an opportunity to pick up a pack if he wants to try to get one. But Diamond Spellstone going to be the play here. Resurrects, does not pick up the Obsidian Statue, though.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. He even gets the Lyra, which isn't going to find any additional resources for him. This is just a very bad position for Rockbase.
That Steam Surger immediately value trades away the Lyra. Wolf now drawing into his own Chameleos, so he'll be able to possibly pick up a Dragon Soul as well. But yeah, this is a very bad position for Chris. Wolf's going to be able to trade away the important part of that board and then start developing. Light Fused Stegodon with no dudes to power up, but he's going to go for the Matriarch. I like it.
Yep, I like this play a lot better. Generates that 4 attack body on the board and allows him to fortunately give his opponent a card, but he can start generating his own whelps. And he's gonna, even though he's ahead on fatigue, he's still got 48 cards left in his deck.
Yeah, and this, the thing about the Nightscale Matriarch is that, the Dragon Soul requires 3 cards in order to generate a minion. The Matriarch only requires your hero power. So this minion can get out of hand in these late game scenarios very, very quickly. And this might be what Wolf needed in order to start creating an in-game scenario. However, Rockbase sitting on that Psychic Scream, so emergency valve just in case this board state starts to get out of control.
Oh,
and there it goes.
Yeah, put more cards into your opponent's deck. There's 54 cards in that deck. And the worst part about it is I don't think Nate knows or can even predict what he's going to be drawing in the future.
In absence of a better threat to play, Wolf plays Baku the Moon Eater for a 7/8, because why not? No Shadow Word Death yet seen from Chris's deck, so Wolf's going to say, fine, I'm going to play it. And hope that... Ooh, adapt your minions. That actually might be a great pickup for Chris if he can leverage that Spellstone and generate a bunch of minions on the board that get unchallenged.
Tell you what, generate that 5/5, play that Evolving Spores, and get another 5/5. That seems like the best possible turn you could have right now.
And Chris,
it's not
enough. Ooh, he's just gonna go for it now. Oh, does he have 2 copies of it? Yes, he does.
Job's done.
Poisonous, probably the result he wanted there to challenge that Baku the Moon Eater. Rockbase Chris is down to 7 cards. He's got to start creating some kind of checkmate scenario, or he's just going to get fatigued right out of this match.
Yeah, absolutely. Dragon Soul keeps baiting me out. I keep seeing cards get played, and I forget that it only works with spells. Oh, man.
Very nice. Chameleos picking up the adapt. That +3 attack going to create a ton of pressure for Wolf. Going to cash in on that 10 damage before Elise can trade him out with the Poisonous. Rockbase got a Baku of his own and a Spellstone. Some ability to refill the board here. But that's still 10 power for Wolf. He's going to have to try to find an answer for this if he wants to stay out of lethal range.
Yeah, his opponent's running pretty low on cards, so I could see him using these 2 Holy Novas here. He doesn't have a lot of like cheap threats to drop that Holy Nova would be effective against. So you might as well take the 10 power off the board and gain 4 health.
Yep. 2 hits for 2 damage each can take the Light Fuse Stegodon off the board. That's what Chris is going to do. And it's going to drop Wolf down to 12 as well. So Rockbase starting to put himself in a position to win the game. That also powers up the Spellstone to 3 minions. So he's got an immediate refill plus a Glimmerroot if he wants to throw it on top of the pile. Wolf drawing into the Ungoro pack that I believe actually came from Archbishop Benedictus.
Oh, man.
Oof. Those are some good cards. Vile Spine Slayer, Bittertide Hydra. Great pickups for Wolf off of that pack.
We're seeing Shaman cards. We're seeing Hunter cards coming in this game. It never ends.
The Fire Plume Harbinger discounts the air elemental to 0 mana in this Priest Mirror.
Oh my gosh. And even when I said he might as well use those Holy Novas because he's not going to be developing any cheap minions to clear a thumb.
Well,
oh man, here comes
here
the Ungoro pack.
Well,
and Alex draws a number 3.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Glimmerroot going to come down first to see what he can pull into hand. Does he guess correctly this time? Chris, the card is Inner Fire. There you go. Okay, so now he could either start trying to generate dragons or use that 7 mana to pick up the Spellstone. Or hey, cast Azalina Soul Thief and just steal Nate's hand. Why not?
Yeah, he got an Ungoro pack.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be some... He played some low-power stuff, so maybe he could pull the read. Again, he misses on the Obsidian statue.
Oh, that feels horrible. I feel really bad for Chris in this situation.
And the Holy Nova coming into hand for Wolf is going to allow him to enable a board clear of his own. Crystalline Oracle going to possibly pick up something It's just a power word shield, thankfully, and can trade away the Lyra as well if he chooses to. Although he's eyeballing the value trade with the Glimmer Root. I would.
Yeah, he's got that Holy Smite in hand, so we should
Okay.
be able to clear this up comfortably.
Yeah, he's got it. He's got choices. Okay, yep, there it goes. Clear off that Lyra before she starts creating havoc on the board. And oh yeah, and the power word shield can draw a card. He's got 50 more in the deck. Why not?
Yeah, he had multiple minions on the board, so I can't help but feel that was the perfect opportunity to play Evolving Spore and Holy Smite. But
Indeed.
Nate Wolf disagrees.
Crackling Razor Maw, no beast in sight for it to trigger, and that Worm Guard, though, going to come down as a 4/11 taunt. Wolf?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's a card. Thought Steel going to pick up even more stuff. Hey, you know what? Inner Fires do a bunch of damage, but a couple of turns of hero powers has allowed Wolf to get back up to 22, Rock Base back up to 21. Animar, unless some serious offense comes out of Wolf, this could be a fatigue-decided match.
Yeah, it's possible. He decides to destroy that 4/11, which, you know, absolutely seems like the correct choice. If Nate Wolf didn't decide to heal there, you could interfire that 4/11, make it 11/11, and possibly pick up Wind Fury for lethal off of the spores. But
True enough.
You know, that's no end in sight in this game.
Well, right now, Wolf is showing 10 damage versus the 4 healing of Rock Base. So that's a 3-turn lethal scenario if Rock Base does not do something about this board. But Psychic Screams have been expended. Obsidian Statues have been expended. I don't know what other defensive tools Rock Base has. Gonna just go for the offense and say Alex Strasser or bust.
Yeah, I admire his dedication there. This is probably the play to win play.
So check this.
Resource.
Glitter Moth in a deck of 47 cards.
What does that even do? Oh, whoa!
However, because of Psychic Scream / card generation / other shenanigans, not every card in Wolf's deck is even. So the Glitter Moth does not function.
Oh, man. Oh, and things just get worse.
Wolf mis-sequencing slightly, thought he was going to be able to get a value trade off of the 5 attack, 1 health Northshire Cleric, but it also flipped Alex Stras's health, so he ended up having to trade away 1 for 2. Anyway, Rock Base back to the drawing board, an untriggered Twilight Acolyte for a 2/4. Could have played the Baku, but he's going to go for the Power Word Shield here. I think he's now starting to realize he needs to generate minions, and he can't. The only way left for him to do that is via the Dragon Soul.
Yeah, it looks like for the first time in this game, we're going to see a Dragon Spirit come out of that Dragon Soul, and I'm psyched. I love it.
We've been waiting for it's been 3 games now, and we're down to almost fatigue on this deck, and we finally have seen a Dragon Spirit. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, I tell you, Cinder, we've seen more Evolving Spores in this Priest Mirror than we have Dragon Spirits and we've seen 2 Dragon Souls.
We've seen more Evolving Spores in this Priest Mirror than we've seen in any Druid Mirror played since that card was released. Psychic Scream being deployed by Nate to clear the board of threats. He's in a position to start winning this game. Oh, Stonehill picks up the Obsidian Statue. Huge pickup for Nate.
We're seeing huge pickups at all points in this game. This has been one of the most exciting games of Hearthstone that I've ever had the liberty of seeing.
Shadow Essence picking up a 5/5 Vilespine Slayer. It is a card, and he could generate another dragon here by way of the Inner Fire plus Ungoro pack. That's what he's going to do.
Oh, not quite as exciting.
Primordial Glyph, though.
Yeah, not quite as good as the Ungoro packs from Nate Wolf, but you know what? That's some free priest cards from that Primordial Glyph.
Mind Blast, a welcome offering from the Primordial Glyph, or even a free from Amber. Both of those cards pretty attractive pickups in a situation where Chris needs to be generating some attack in order to finish out this game. He's at 7 health, though. He's got to get the ball rolling here and fast.
Yeah, he doesn't really have any way to get out of a sticky situation. That free from Amber is a really, really solid pickup, but man, I wish I could predict how this game was going to end, but oh man, that Void Ripper,
Oh.
Ripper would have been great.
Yeah, that would have allowed Chris to deploy the Spirit Echo and get another Vile Spine Slayer to clean up any other big minions. But that gonna go ahead and generate an Obsidian statue because why not?
Spirit Echo is going to allow him to add these cards to his hand. I would love to have all of those cards in my hand at this point in the game.
Another Vile Spine Slayer, another Obsidian statue, 2 more removal cards going to be in hand for Rock Base. He's riding the line down to just 6 health, Inner Fire deploying to make that an 8/8 Obsidian statue and another 5/5 off the Dragon Soul. This means that Obsidian statue is going to heal for 8 damage per hit and bring Chris back from the brink, and he has the board more or less secured.
Yeah, this game is absolutely disgusting. What is the Mind Vision going to
The
get?
Shell Shifter, why not? Chameleos gonna copy Lord knows what from Rock Base's hand next turn. Although the Lich King has been sitting in Wolf's hand for a hot second thanks to that. Was that come from the Stonehill Defender?
It did indeed.
I think okay. That's the only card I think can generate a Lich King at this point. So
yeah.
And Wolf very reluctant to trade into that Obsidian statue to give 8 points of healing to Rock Base. Rock Base picks up another Vile Spine Slayer.
Oh. That's exactly what he wanted to see.
Oh,
that's kill either one of these cards.
What a perfect draw. So, Rock Base is going to have to sequence this very, very carefully because that Obsidian statue will kill something off the board. And he doesn't want it to kill... Well, actually, he's got Spirit Echo on these 2 removal minions, so hey, why not? Go ahead and kill them and bounce them back to the hand. Why not?
Yeah, I can't help but feel he actually should have traded his own Obsidian statue into the Lich King to clear both of his opponent's minions and sacrifice one of his own to that opposing Death Rattle.
Oh, what a great roll, too, on the Death Rattle there. Picks up the Hot Spring Guardian and allows Rock Base to secure the board and push both of these minions to face, sets Wolf down to 6. Now Wolf is on the ropes.
How does this game keep switching back and forth between these 2 players? I don't understand this. This is like watching the most disgusting game of Arena.
This is gonna be a VOD for the books, Animore, and I gotta tell you, I don't smoke and I don't drink, but I need a cigarette and a drink right now.
Yeah, and we're not even done with it yet.
Looks like he's Wolf trying to play the defense game, playing the Shell Shifter in 3/5 taunt mode just to try and live. He's got the Tar Lord from the Chameleos, but that's going to change into something else next turn. Rock Base now hovering over Avazelina Soul Thief, because why not?
Yeah, maybe he's thinking Wolf has something in his hand that can give him lethal for under 3 mana. But I don't know.
I don't think so. And Rock Base just needs to punch through this Shell Shifter and find a way to deliver 10 more damage. Gonna smartly get that Vile Spine Slayer with Spirit Echo on it down to 1 health to try to trade it away in a future turn. Threatening to get another removal piece back into his hand to break through any more taunts or Lich Kings or Obsidian statues or whatever. But no, Baku the Moon Eater's just going to come down for a 7/8 and says, Wolf, answer it with the Obsidian statue that he just picked up off the top of the deck.
Just when we think this game, the end is in sight and everyone will be free from the disgusting Priest Mirror, we see that Obsidian statue come into Nate Wolf's hand, and oh man.
And Chris picked up another Obsidian statue from, I don't even know what this came from. What did this come from, Animore?
I have no idea.
I don't even know. I've lost track of what is happening. Twilight Acolyte, though, is going to reduce the Obsidian statue down to 2 health, so not as much healing for Wolf. Is this a lethal? I'm trying to see if this is a lethal setup. Rock Base can trade away the Vile Spine Slayer to get that back into his hand.
No, it doesn't.
No.
Well,
He's going to heal for 2. No,
if it kills the 4/4, no, yeah, maybe.
So that
if it kills one of the inactive minions,
yes.
If it doesn't kill,
he's got a 50-50 here to finish off the game.
Oh,
and he's going to get it! Rock Base is going to win the game! On the edge of fatigue, he just drew his last card, and this is lethal right here. And this absolutely wild Priest Mirror, Animore. My goodness!
We need them.
We're in a game 5 after a flabbergasting, breath-stealing, no more
Deck
words
stealing.
deck stealing
Twice.
Priest mirror, where at one point Nate Wolf had 60 some odd cards in his deck. I lost count of how many obsidian statues we saw in that game. I'm going to have to go to my deck tracker later and find out. I've
I just got a whisper from Rock Base that says, I'm tired, Animore. I don't blame you, Rock Base.
Come on, gentlemen, you've got one more match to finish. Nate sticking on the Priest, Chris now switching to the Warrior. What is even Chris's Warrior? Have we seen it yet? What is his deck list look like?
Oh, man. Let me pull it up.
Well, I see Leroy and a Bloodworm. That seems like a fairly aggressive set. Town Crier, Stonehill Defender. Well, this is kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I see Swamp Leeches. I see Mountain Fire Armors. I see a Countess Ashmore as well.
So
perhaps some rushes going on.
Yeah, perhaps Chris taking kind of the same route of starting with Countess Ashmore and building around her with the Leech and the Rush minions, etc. So Pumpkin Peasant, you won't see that very often. Swamp Leech coming down as a Rush minion as well. But Tank Up seems like a pretty good play for any Warrior on turn 2. Unless you want to play a Swamp Leech.
Yeah. Maybe he just decided he doesn't want his opponent to steal his deck twice again and go to fatigue once more.
Or Chris,
so this game has to end.
Or Chris just wants to end the misery as soon as possible, and just wants to play minions. Yes,
this is longer than an episode of Coin Concede. I'll tell you.
Oh, I feel personally attacked. So
I love it.
Stonehill Defender going to pick up some pretty good options there. Warrior's got some great taunt minions available to it. Gem-studded Golem going to be able to be activated with that Tank Up, but he's going to go for the Direhorn Hatchling and send a little bit of damage to face. I would not be surprised, Animore, here if we just see Chris just going to face every single turn until one of the heroes explodes.
Yeah, that sounds like the name of the game. You might as well go for it because you're probably not going to outlast this Priest that's going to take like 20 cards from your deck. I don't think the Warrior has it in him.
And at the very least, these Warrior Rush decks with the amount of rush they have available to them allows them to play minions and immediately make trades and sometimes value trades and start generating a board while removing the opponent's minions from the board. Very similar to the old Dragon Temple Warrior from previous metas. So this is a great deck for opponents that play small minion pressure like Nate is playing right now. So Chris might be able to just, faces the place and win this game just via sheer minion pressure, but trades down to just a 1/3 Stonehill Defender.
Yeah, Rock Base actually has Leroy in this deck.
Yep.
That along with cards like Darius Crowley and Zola the Gorgon. If he gets his opponent low enough, he could close out the game with some burst damage. But, he kind of opts to trade off his board instead of going face.
And Wolf with somewhat awkward responses to what's on board goes ahead and starts developing some card draw to get some more options in hand. Rock Base picking up the Frothing Berserker off the top. Fairly good pickup. It's gonna be a threat that continues to grow unless Rock Base decides to draw a card and not play a minion this turn.
Oh man, I can't help but feel like that's got to be a mistake. Maybe the fatigue of that last match is getting to him.
This is just fatigue right now, I think. He had options. Rotten Apple Bomb was fine. Direhorn Hatchling was fine. Frothing Berserker would have been fine. But Wolf now able to develop at least Trailblazer unchallenged on the board, but Rock Base draws one of his own. Rock Base reaching for the Pumpkin Peasant to trade away one of these two minions in front of the Frothing Berserker to get him up to speed.
Yeah,
and then
I didn't think I'd live to see a day where Pumpkin Peasant was put into a deck.
Pumpkin Peasant is not a rush, it's a lifesteal. Okay, my mistake.
Ooh.
But this does allow the Frothing Berserker to get a little bit of power up by way of at least trading into the Stonehill Defender. Acolyte going to steal the attack, but that little guy is just going to keep growing. It doesn't matter. Taking two attack from it does not change the result of what Rock Base is going to do next turn.
Oh no, absolutely not. Countess Ashmore comes into hand. He can fill up his hand even more if he wants to, but nope, he's going face, and it looks like he's going to go for a brawl.
Yeah. Push in what damage you have, and just hope that you get the 1 and 3 to win this brawl. I don't hate it.
Yeah, might as well go for it. And unfortunately, doesn't win the brawl, but a 4/4 is left on the board as a result.
Yeah, that's a toughie, but he does have minions in hand that can answer that via trades. Wolf rolling into turn 7, now starting to pick up some of his options, especially this Night Scale Matriarch is going to start creating even more minions, and that's going to be a big problem for Rock Base because he just expended one of his brawls.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got pretty much only minions. He's only got proactive plays for the upcoming turns, so he needs to start developing them. I felt like if he had done that a little bit earlier, he might have been in a little better shape. That brawl might have been a little bit stronger.
Ooh, picked up the Sleepy Dragon off of the Stonehill Defender for next turn. That's a great pickup, and Wolf going to continue to develop minion pressure here, trading away the Stonehill, and healing is going to allow that Matriarch to start creating those 3/3s. It's going to be more and more problematic for Chris. Start creating some counter pressure to start swinging this board in his direction.
Yeah, and my favorite thing about this series so far is we get to see some of these synergies that you don't get to traditionally see in this meta. That those Twilight Acolytes getting that dragon synergy, and that Night Scale Matriarchs summoning even more dragons when they get healed. It's just refreshing and exhausting.
Yes, it's definitely exhausting. Mountain Fire Armor hasn't been seen in a hot second. That comes in the hand for Chris. Darius Crowley, though, what a great card. Town Crier going to draw another card. 2 minions, 4 cards drawn on turn 9. That ain't bad anymore. That's a pretty decent play. Although it doesn't do anything to change the board state, though. And Chris is really starting to get behind here.
Yeah, he doesn't really have any way to proactively change the board state at the moment. However, Wolf, what is that? He finds Darius Crowley off of Chameleos?
Is that what that is? Yeah, it sure is.
No
yes,
idea.
It is. It's Darius Crowley that Chameleos copied. He just drew Ysera as well. So, and the Obsidian statue, of course, is a huge threat in and of itself. But Ysera is going to be hiding behind that Obsidian statue and generating lots and lots of value for Nate for this game 5.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead and clear up this Obsidian statue. I like it. I'd like to see Darius Crowley come down as well. This is probably seems like one of the best opportunities to develop him.
Yeah, going to be able to trade away that 3/2 and then start to grow a little bit, at least challenge one of those Twilight Acolytes. Rock Base, considering the more passive play, goes for the Rotten Apple Bomb and a Hero Power.
Yeah, I don't think that's how he's going to win this game. I think he needs to continually remove threats and develop his own at the same time.
Psychic Scream coming into the hand for Nate Wolf, although he's in a commanding board position. He doesn't need it. Actually reaching for the Alex Straza. Bit of a missequence here because the Rotten Apple Bomb is going to heal up from 15, and he realizes it. But it's still a huge amount of pressure being developed by Nate, and Rock Base, no answers. All he could do is play taunts and hope.
Yeah, he wanted to see another brawl off the top there, but unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. We're not in that parallel universe right now, and I think is there anything he can do? He can develop 2 taunts, but that's just probably only going to delay it 1 turn.
Yep, and the Axe trade going to bring him down to 9. Yeah, these 2 minions are going to get traded away. That Wormguard, another huge minion that Chris is going to be unable to answer.
Oh, and that Void Ripper is just getting even more powerful in the hand of Nate Wolf.
Indeed, and the healing available still from the Hero Power for Wolf is going to generate yet another 3/3 from the Matriarch. Trades punch through the taunts. Chris running out of ways to stop this damage from coming through. Needs a brawl off the top. No other answer is available. Matriarch's not enough.
Yeah, with Void Ripper in hand, that looks like that's probably gonna spell the series for Chris.
Yeah, the Void Ripper going to flip the Matriarch to a 9/4, the Worm Guard to a 4/11. Going to change the Dire Horn or the Sleepy Dragon if he reaches for that down to either 6 or 4 health, and he's going to be able to trade right through that and deliver that damage.
Yeah, that's got to be it, I would think.
But Chris really has nothing else to do. This is the only play available to him.
He's really demonstrating the power of that Night Scale Matriarch, despite being a little bit too slow for the current meta. In a more limited format, is really displaying that versatility.
Nate sees the lethal push from the Void Ripper, flips the attack of all of those huge butted minions, and pushes through the lethal in this absolutely marathon 5-game set from these two podcasters who put on quite a competitive display with these creative choices. Oh my goodness, Anamor, I am beat after casting that series.
Yeah, I might have to call into work tomorrow.
Goodness gracious. Well, let's see if we can pull Nate and Chris into a group chat. If you want to do that for us, Anamor.
Absolutely.
We'll probably have a little bit of a blip as the Discord flips us into a group chat, and we'll try to line that up as soon as we can. But once again, Chris Plummer and Nate Wolf facing off in an odd deck challenge. Each player brought all Baku decks. They each brought the entire same lineup: Priest, Shaman, and Warrior. And they both came up with very, very different ways to approach this deck building challenge, and turned into just an amazing series to cast. And I'm assuming, Anamor, that you probably have to add them all as friends in Discord, etc.
I think I have to add all 3 of you to my friends to get this rolling.
That just might be a pre-match thing to do in the not too distant future. But for the time being, once again, let's cover what's coming up for the rest of this week. Wednesday night, starting at 9 Eastern, you're going to see Andrew is live from the Happy Hearthstone, facing off against Dragon Rider Donnie for playing for Team Toast. Team Toast hoping to keep the spirit of Toast alive and go 5-0 in the United Hearthstone League. And then playing at about the same time, the Greenspeed versus Red Knight. So I think one of those matches will probably be held on another stream, probably either Greenspeed or Red Knight stream. But stay tuned for that. I'm sure they'll announce it on the Twitter where those games will be played. Thursday night, Versika from the Hero Power Podcast versus Ridiculous Hat of Coin and Concede, my old stomping ground. That'll be at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Friday night, we have a Larry, one of the badass women of Hearthstone, playing against Rod Johnston from Tier 5. That's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And finally, capping off the week on Saturday, badass woman of Hearthstone, Ziggy Sarah from 1600 Dust, facing off against Mike Lowe, the streamer extraordinaire, overnight sensation, and apparently Anamor rap god.
Really?
Yes. He did a little freestyle for one of the podcasts. I gotta go check and see which one it was, but it was pretty good, man. It was pretty lit.
Awesome. I gotta check it out.
Yeah, I am a fan of the flow, and Mike Lowe showing his chops. Very impressed by the talents of like all of these content creators. They're so multi-talented. They have so many great characteristics that come out because of their involvement in United Hearthstone League and the Hearthstone community in general. Just loving it. And
absolutely. Actually, Cinder, I think I'm just waiting on your friend request.
Oh, am I? Oh, that's my fault. I'm sitting here talk stone.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. I just got everyone else.
Okay, 1 second.
Yeah, if you're supporting all the awesome content from all these awesome content creators, you can go to patreon.com/UnitedHSLeague. Get involved there. Help us continue growing. If you love what we're doing, why not?
All right, Anamor. I think we are now officially friends. It's Discord official.
Yay!
So let's make a group chat.
I'm on it.
The things I have to say about Chris and that Dragon Soul. All right, we are flipping into the group chat now. So, Nate Wolf, Chris Plummer, gentlemen, can you hear us? That's going to be a no.
Hello.
There's one. There's two. All right.
Hey, it's Nate.
Nate,
Hello, I think we're just waiting on Cinder. I'm not sure.
am I not here? Hang on.
Added all of us to the call here. Should join in a second.
Sweet.
Is everyone else doing video? Should I do video?
Can you hear me now?
You're both of
fine. I can switch to video if you want.
Well, I haven't done my hair, guys.
Yeah, me neither.
check with Cinder real quick.
Well, I know the stream can hear me.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, you can hear me now. Okay, I think Discord just took a hot second to catch up to reality.
Gotcha.
I think Discord was also laid low by that priest mirror. So, Nate, Nate and Chris. So this odd Baku mirror challenge, deck building challenge. I think you both thought your decks were kind of poo. Turns out they were pretty awesome, and that ended up being a 5-game series with very, very different decks and one hell of a priest mirror. So, Nate and Chris, kind of give us your deck building approach. Tell us what went into your lineup and deck choices.
Okay, yeah, I was really tempted to just plop the quest in all 3 of them, and then after playing around with them, I thought, no, I'll pass. I actually worked a little bit with Dab on mine from the Wild Open. He was on our show last week, and we were kind of chatting about it, and I bounced a couple ideas off of him, and he helped me some. But I was trying with dragons, and then I was trying to do some kind of like Void Ripper thing with the priest, because you can't have like the full combo; you just have half of it. But that kind of works a little bit. And we were trying to kind of cram as many legends in as we possibly could. And I don't know, we were just trying to have fun with it. Found some accidental synergy there. It was pretty cool. And Chris and I were chatting like the whole time during the games, and I think some of the plays there in that mirror match were made just for the fun of it. Like, I'm sure I misplayed, but it was, I was telling Chris, if I can play Benedictus, like I'll play him as many times as I possibly can. And the match went to fatigue, and I still had 42 cards in my deck.
Yeah, that was absolutely insane. And I know Chris after that game messaged me and said, I'm tired.
We're tired, man. That was something else. So, Chris, I do want to hear your lineup thoughts as well. But after that, we have a bone to pick about Dragon Soul, my friend.
Absolutely. So my lineup selection was basically, the the priest was oddly enough the hardest one for me. I tried a couple different variants, then I got to thinking, and I said, I can't build a deck this way to save my life. So why don't I just let my opponent build my deck for me? And so I threw all of these, steel ability cards into there, and it was kind of, the rest was history from there. And I was hoping we could have got Benedictus in there again. I think we got up to 54 cards in Nate's deck.
Something like that. It was pretty crazy.
The Murloc deck, there were barely enough Murlocs and Shamans to make it work. And Nate and I were talking about that earlier, and I said I tried it, it didn't work. I forgot about Nightmare Amalgam, so I put 2 copies of that one in. I'm like, all right, we'll see if we can do a Murloc quest. The Dollmaster Dorian synergy was completely, I didn't even think of that. It was like, well, he might have some random stuff, and then that first Murloc came in to hit the battlefield, and I thought, oh no, wait, I have potential to complete the quest, but Bloodlust called, and I was able to win without it.
Hey.
Yeah, that got me out of nowhere. I was like, what? Wait, what? That was pretty great.
And we actually gave you credit on the Dollmaster Dorian. It's like, oh, this is brilliant. It's going to summon even more Murlocs, especially off this.
Don't do that.
the Primal Fin Lookout also adds cards and stuff. So yeah, it was a great go at the Shaman build. We loved it. Bloodlust was very powerful in that matchup. But Chris, you didn't play Dragon Soul on 3 with a handful of cheap spells. Man, you're killing me. What happened?
Well, don't really know how to play the deck.
Does anyone?
No. Yeah, it was just one of those. I tried. I was trying to play to my outs. I realized I didn't know what my outs were. I realized Curious Glimmerroot. I don't even know what my opponent's playing. So how am I going to know if I picked the right card? It was just a mess, and it was all just to have fun with it anyway. So
I think you got those Glimmerroot picks more often than not too.
Yeah, I think you only missed the one time you missed the Glimmer route that I remember.
And I missed it because it was the Obsidian Statue, and I picked the other one because I was hoping he didn't have Obsidian Statue, and then it was like, oh crud, he's got Obsidian Statue.
Well, gentlemen, I want to chat more with you guys, but it is almost 1 a.m. on the East Coast, and we need to let some people go to bed. So
yeah, sorry for keeping you guys so long.
Oh, I enjoyed the heck out of this. Don't even apologize to me, but I know some people have work in the morning. So so to keep this a little bit short, Chris, tell everybody who's still with us where they can catch you and more of this zaniness that comes out of that brain of yours.
Sure. You can go to 1600dust.com. You can find us on Twitter at 1600dust, and I'm on Twitter as well at cmplumber.
Great. And Nate Wolf, where can people find you?
Awesome, thanks. Yeah, so I'm most active on Twitter. It's at NateWolfHS, NateWolfEHS. I'm part of the Into the Wild podcast, and you can find us at Into the Wild HS on Twitter. We just had a new episode come out this morning with the super awesome song at the end of the credits. You guys have to check it out.
Oh, is that Mike's? Yeah,
Mike is on it as well.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
And yeah, you can get the show on iTunes or directly from radiocircus.net.
Awesome. So because we cut this short, I want to task everyone who's watching to head to Twitter and pick up this conversation, because there is so much to talk about, not just in that whole game of five, but in that Priest Mirror. So thanks to both of you for a very entertaining match, and we're going to see you on the flip side.
Sounds good. Hey, thank you guys.
All right. So Animor, let's go ahead and shut this one down and talk about where people can find you.
Oh, me? Well, people can find me on Twitter at swagaway_Animor. Of course, I'm nothing without my buddies from Swagaway Gaming. We're a Hearthstone team. We're hosting tournaments. We're doing commentary here on United Hearthstone League as well. You can find our website, swagaway.com. Swagaway Gaming on Twitter and Facebook as well. What about you? Who are you, and where can people find you?
I'm Cinder. I love casting matches. I do it for these lovely folks at United Hearthstone League, and I also do the occasional match for Team Hearth League. And I'm hoping to do even more as time goes on, talking to some people, working on some things. So if you want to check out when those are going to happen, that's my Twitter right there, at Cinder Ascendant, and I'll see you there maybe. So for Animor and the rest of United Hearthstone League and those two mad geniuses that just finished that match, good night and thanks for tuning in.
Bye, guys.